Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. How's everybody doing?
Not doing too badly up here. It has been hot as hell for the last 5 days. Over the course of the pandemic, I took up hiking, and trying to hike in like 34-degree weather plus 60 or 70% humidity, so it ends up being about 40 degrees, is awful.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's actually been raining for the last few days here and storming. So, but I mean, right now it's beautiful. It's sunny again. So, but I've heard it's been pretty hot in old Canada right now. Well, at least Ontario.
Absolutely. I mean, it feels like you
Hmm.
went to South Africa to escape the cold, and we got all the shitty weather up here because then it was too cold, and it was too hot, and we just can't win here.
It's just teeter totter.
I
Yeah, it's funny.
assume it's you keeping the balance of weather up here, and the longer you're gone, the worse it gets for us.
I'm heading back soon, I think. So we're working that out. What about you, Susash? What's going on in Bang?
It's hot. It's hot. It's really hot. So it's been humid and hot for the last few weeks. So yeah, just but it's pretty normal here. So after I don't know 20 years of Canadian winter, this is an interesting change. So can't complain.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I would tend to agree that what I'm not complaining. Like people, some days it'll be super super sunny here and very hot, and people will be complaining, and I'm like, guys, you just have to come live in Canada for a year or two, and this is going to be okay for you. Trust me.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
probably sometimes we'll head back as well. So looking forward to that change. But yeah, in the meantime, this is good. Can't complain.
Hmm. So we have some of our EIRs joining us today, which is exciting. They're all in a process now of weekly sprints. So we've sort of updated the format a little bit with the program. I'll share a little bit of that here for anybody who's been following along. So we basically have had about 3 months now where we've had these teams kind of going through the process of learning some of the ins and outs of entrepreneurship. What we've come to realize, and I think some of us have already knew that. I think Paul and Susash are a little bit more seasoned at this part than I am, so they were kind of warning me. But there is a lot that you need to figure out in a short amount of time. So 6 months, obviously, if you've done this before, is a lot of time to kind of get something going. But if this is the first time that you've ever put a project into the world and try to get customers interested, it can be a little bit overwhelming at some points. And I think we have sort of learned through iteration here what we're kind of delivering that's positive, and then what we're delivering that can be improved. And so we've gone through a bit of an exercise over the last couple of weeks, especially last week into this week, where we have updated the hey, how are you? Nice to see you, Carla.
Sorry, a bit late.
Yeah, that's all good. It's good to see you. And so I was just saying that we've been updating a little bit of our priorities and a bit of the process. So nothing for Fridays has changed. We're going to be continuing to show up every Friday until the program's over at the end of November, beginning of December. But we will see a lot more of our EIRs every week because every Friday is basically show and tell. So what we are doing is we're moving some of the programming in the background to recordings, and then we're going to be doing more one-on-one communication with EIRs on the Tuesdays. That used to be more training, and now on Fridays it's going to be a little more interesting for each of them, I think, and also for us and for anybody who's watching, because we will actually be able to see what they're up to and get feedback in real time on trials and tribulations, progress. We have a really aggressive plan to get everybody to their first customers before the end of the program. So again, this accelerator is a little different. We are starting from zero to first customers, not from existing customers to, traditionally it's like accelerated growth. We're not doing that. We're actually bringing in folks, for the most part, that have never run a company before or never started anything. And then we have a couple of EIRs that are a little bit further along, but they're still, looking at revamping their projects and so on. And so they're joining us on those adventures. So yeah, so it should be exciting. It should be fun. And one more thing I'll share. I realized yesterday night I'm very much still a maker and less of a manager. We we were working on the Darkhorse website, and we had some help, which was great. And I think there's just like a lot of different ways to approach a problem, and we sort of went in a direction. And I went in there, and I was like, I didn't realize we were doing that. And then I went in last night, and I was completely like, oh, this isn't working out. So everything got pulled down, and we're reworking some of the website stuff within the priorities that we originally set out. So yeah, it's a learning process, this whole thing, just figuring out what's going to work and what's not going to work, and how much management we need to sort of bring to it, and then also how much freedom we want to give to our EIRs and our crew. So I'm going to say everybody who's been working either with us on the program or working in the program, thanks for all of your efforts. It's been really awesome to see the effort and the progress, but you know what, we're still figuring all this stuff out. So yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, like the real world. This is very much like the real world of entrepreneurship. So yeah, that's all I have to share.
Awesome.
Excellent speech, Emery. You kind of put us in a little bit of a corner there of just like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, like whatever. Let's move on, right?
Yeah.
No, I hear you. Yeah. Well, we have a few people that just joined on Facebook, so that's cool. Rachel, hey, how's it going? Chandrika, nice to see you. So, how's it going, Carla? Let's talk to Carla for a minute, because she's always so polite and just, there, just, waiting for the EIRs probably to entertain us, or we to entertain them. Yeah. We're all into entertainment here. But what are you up to? How's your day been?
Good, busy, but good. This whole week, actually, I've been working a lot on more like behind the scenes types of training materials for this program and other projects and personal branding. So it's been quite a tough week, but good, and hopefully exciting from next week. But I must say my batteries are a bit low by this time now. So it's time for weekend. But it's been a really productive week, like just getting all the things done that I've been procrastinating against and thinking like, oh, I'll do it next time. And this week I just decided, no, let's just focus and get it all done. So it's
nice.
A rewarding type of tired.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I can completely relate. I've been forcing myself into the personal branding exercise as well. So I think I've recorded probably a couple of hours now of video, which is a lot for me. It's like probably more than I've done in my life, but other than like this live streaming stuff, but just really like intentionally recording, stuff that's just for social media. So yeah, it's been a challenge, man, and just getting into my comfort zone, and I'm doing it in public too, right? Where it's like, I'm at cafes and I have like somebody there pointing a camera at me. It's one of those. Yeah. So it's been a challenge, but it's been fun. I'm really looking forward to. It's actually coming along really nicely. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'm waiting for. I did there's some drone footage and stuff that's getting added, and the whole theme is nomadism. So it's sort of my lifestyle, but this idea of travel and work and all that stuff that comes along with the ride. But yeah, so the first couple of episodes, I think we're going to have them in the can so that I can put them up, and then I'm going to have all the other social channels revolve around them. So I'm excited about that. So that this sort of emphasis on personal branding that we've been talking a lot about here, definitely trying to eat the dog food on that.
That's very impressive.
Looking forward to that.
That's go great.
I always love that Emery's just not going to half-ass it either. It's just like, we should do like little tiny videos and have some more presence. And then Emery comes in and is like, I've got hours of drone footage that I need to go and sift through here for me. Like, of course you do. That's not even surprising anymore.
Well, thank you. Well, you know what? I'm a bit on the extremes with stuff like this. I'm like, I'm either going to do it all in or not at all. Because that's honestly, Paul, that's why I've never actually really gotten really into social media, is because I'm like, I look around and I'm like, well, like it's all been done. Like, what am I supposed to add to this conversation? But then I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I do have enough to say now that is, at least peculiar enough to be different, where it's like I've gone through enough now in my life where I'm like, I feel like I actually can have an intelligent, sort of conversation on camera and not feel like, what am I saying that anybody cares to listen to? So, and I actually am really passionate about a lot of stuff I've been talking about in the recordings. So I'm excited to get your feedback, at the very least, and sort of see what people think about the first couple of episodes.
I'm immensely looking forward to next Friday when we put Emery on the hot seat for his 15-minute presentation to review social and marketing.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're actually, speaking of social marketing, we actually have a bunch of recordings coming for the EIRs. I know they've been anxiously waiting. We had a delay because this week we had to reorganize the whole program essentially around them. But based on feedback, we know exactly what everybody at this point needs. So there's going to be some stuff coming on the main social channels that we've been putting together. I'm just getting the editing finished on my recordings, and then product sourcing. And so figuring out like drop shipping and all that stuff. So we're going to do like each one is about an hour long. So an hour long walkthrough with nuts and bolts. And then we're going to have some templates and stuff for folks. So I'm excited about releasing that. And I know a lot of the EIs are pretty anxious for that, but the great thing is nobody's stalled anymore. Like nobody's sort of spinning wheels. Everybody has sort of activities that they're pursuing this week, which is really exciting to see. Everybody is, and we're going to hear in a minute, I guess, what they're doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So for EIRs, if you can start heading backstage, today we're doing first come, first serve. So it's just whatever order you end up hopping backstage with. We'll just bring you up incrementally. As always, we'll have the order in chat just as a friendly reminder. I think it's 10 minutes today for presentations, Emery?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you do a little less, it's fine. We'll ask a few questions here and there, but I think we have 5 or 6 folks presenting today, so that works out pretty perfectly. That's another thing that's changing, guys. If you're watching, this isn't always 2 hours anymore. This is as long as it needs to be, no more than 2 hours, but oftentimes less. It just depends, But it's just we go until we have, until we have everybody on, and then that's it. So yeah.
I feel like my annoyance just kind of snuck in there a little bit. Be like, oh yeah, it'll be as long as it needs to be, as long as it's not longer than 2 hours, because I know that I'm going to get invoiced by people.
That's exactly right. Well, I want to make sure people aren't feeling like, oh my god, like as long as it needs to be. What does that mean exactly? Is that like, is this a marathon? What's going on here? But yeah, we'll see where it goes today. Today will be a test. Cool. Anybody? Do we want to bring them in?
As soon as anyone's here.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm not holding out on you. I'm not just sitting here and like, yes. The power of who gets to join this the live stream is fantastic for me. It's like, no, I actually have nothing else. I can present Drive.io. That's about the best thing I have right now.
Oh well, there you go. You can wing it for Lindani. Yeah, he can. He can kind of come in and go, wait, what? I thought I was supposed to present this. And you're like, oh, no, I kind of did it for you. It's I know exactly what you're doing here. Yeah, I read your mind. I read your mind, yeah. That's funny. All right, well, what else do you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about something interesting. Let's talk about something entrepreneurial. I can share some stories about what's going on with my projects, if you guys care to hear. I don't know if it's that interesting, but some stuff I'm learning.
Oh, no, what timing that some other entrepreneur has joined the call.
Yeah, let's talk to somebody else. I'm tired of talking. I talked all day. Today was a recording day. I was talking all day. So
fantastic. I do have Lindani just hopped on, so we'll do Lindani and Rachel for the EIRs that are backstage right now. And I do have the PowerPoint up, and it doesn't look like it works. So let me just multitask for a second here. Hello.
You're looking a little cold, Lindani. Is the weather bothering you a bit? You're looking very Canadian, actually, which is pretty cool. Very Canadian. I like the the plaid, the toque.
Yeah.
We've reversed weather. We sent all our weather to Canada, and then they sent all their weather to us. So I think
I don't understand.
Yeah, so it's super hot in Canada right now. It's like boiling, and it's super cold compared to normal in South Africa. So
Oh, okay. Now I get you. I get you. But it's not the cold here in Durban. I know that you're in Cape Cold.
Yeah, we're too far away from the equator. I think that, several hundred miles makes a difference, or kilometers makes a difference. I think it's also the mountains and probably the sea and a bunch of factors playing in here. But yeah. So I think we have a presentation that you sent us, and
How is everyone? Yeah.
good. Yeah. I think we're all good. Everybody looks pretty good. I mean, they're all looking very photogenic and happy. I feel good. I don't know. I'll speak for myself, but yeah, I'm happy. It's Friday. I always love Fridays. Fridays are a good day. I'm glad we do these live streams on Fridays actually, because it's like a celebration to end off the week, the sort of the regular work week for me. So it's kind of cool. How about you? How's your week been? How has things been going? Before we get into your presentation, how's things been going in general with the project? Are you learning a lot of things or nothing at all?
It's been hectic. It's been hectic. You gave me a lot of work.
I turned into a professor.
I didn't sleep last night. Last night trying to put this presentation together. But I'll try my best. Yeah.
Finally, Lindani, you now understand what entrepreneurship is truly all about. It's lack of sleep. That's exactly what it is. It's stressing, staying up late, trying to get stuff done, worried that you're not going to get it in time. You got clients that are chasing you down. Welcome to my world. Yeah, that's a day of the life. But no, I'm glad that you're working on stuff. That's good.
Thank you.
Be honest. This is actually a great response. So, is it better to stress out and have stuff that you need to get done that you're kind of working hard towards, or is it actually better to just kind of go in a much more relaxed pace where you kind of just do whatever you want to do? What do you think? What's your sort of honest opinion so far? Like, is it nice to have some clarity and some direction around like next steps, or were you more like with the pace that you were already on? Was it enough?
Well,
like, did we just pile on too much extra work?
I think it's from my experience.
I think we gave you so much work that it actually knocked out your Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think it's better to go in a relaxed mode, much more organized strategy.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Because it allows you to be more efficient in your work approach. But I also like the hectic schedule.
I think you're right. I think it's a balance, like getting. Yeah. The balance is good. I don't think I've ever found an early stage entrepreneur though that's been able to kind of maintain the casual pace for continuously. So I think you're right. I think it's having both. It's having sometimes where things are like much more organized and calm and relaxed, but then there's always going to be activities every so often where you have to, really jump into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point. Cool. Paul, how are you doing with the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
All ready to go.
That's true.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we're excited.
They're not saying anything.
I'm trying to make sure that your PowerPoint works because my computer had an aneurysm when I opened it for some reason.
And Susash is just studying you for fashion, tips when he heads back to Canada. He's studying the outfit.
That's right. I need to figure out how to become warm again.
But yeah, we're all ready to go on the presentation. And to get this going. All right. Awesome.
Excited. We're ready.
Lindani, all on you. I'll do my best to follow cues as you go along here. If I need to switch it or if I'm lagging behind, feel free to ping me, wave your hands, something of
Can I
the sort.
start?
I'll do the best I can.
All right.
Hello. Is it
Seems
just
like
me
you're-
or?
No, it's not you.
Okay.
Yeah, Lindani, it seems like your Wi-Fi connection's really having a challenge today. Did you change something? Did you get on a better network or worse network? What's going on?
Would it help if he turns off his camera and maybe just speaks? I don't know if that'll help.
Yeah, that might help. Yeah, Lindani, why don't you turn your camera off today? Unfortunately, I think the up speed is getting throttled on your side. Unfortunately, I can actually stay on and I'll pretend I'm you.
Looks like we might have lost him.
All together?
It's showing as like a 0 in terms of connectivity on my side.
That's not a good sign. Zero is not traction.
No, that sucks though.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't we? I mean, welcome to live. This is unlike recordings. We can't edit this out for Lindani, and but unfortunately, I'm not sure if you can hear us, Lindani, but we're having a hard time connecting with you. So if you can turn your camera off, then we can try going that route, and then you can just speak to your presentation and your progress.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Is my PowerPoint supposed to show somewhere, or I open my own?
Nope, I've got you on the PowerPoint. Don't worry.
So
I'm just gonna have the rest of us hop out, so I'll leave Emery up here, just to kind of cover as well.
Oh,
but yeah, feel free to.
I can't see anything on this.
there you go.
Actually, maybe Paul, to maximize his bandwidth, why don't you maybe exit us as well just for the presentation, and then we'll come back in when he's done. Actually, maybe Paul, to maximize his bandwidth, why don't you maybe exit us as well just for the presentation, and then we'll come back in when he's done.
You can start now. So, but it station. For your Okay.
Emery.
Hey, how's it going, Paul? Yeah,
Hey, buddy.
so it looks like we're having a bit of a challenge there with Lendani's connection. So that's unfortunate. I would have liked to see what he put together. I'm not sure if it's worth just showing his slides, and I can see if it's decipherable from just the presentation itself. And I have had a couple of good conversations with him and Stanley. I mean, I'm happy to sort of at least give a little bit of a high level and see what he put together. And then Lendani, obviously, you'll get a chance to present at some future point once we figure out the technical difficulties. I know Stanley has a bit of a sharper connection in Vancouver, so maybe that we can get him to kind of do your update next week. But why don't you throw keep us all up, but just quickly, let's whip through his PowerPoint and let's just see if there's anything here that we can articulate for on his behalf.
Yep.
Okay. So the goal is to select a better solar panel for homeowners. That makes sense. I think there's a little bit more context we can add there around this idea of incentivizing homeowners to create a better energy source for themselves, especially with basically energy here being a little bit more precious than in some other places because of the advent of load shedding in the country, where every so often you get scheduled brownouts, essentially, or blackouts. So this is sort of a solution that can help homeowners take control of their energy resources, and we can give them a subscription model where they can actually be able to make it affordable, as opposed to investing in heavy, duty equipment for their home in terms of solar panel installations and so on. So that's the objective. Looks like I am truly pretending I'm Lendani today. Okay, so reason to go solar. Completely eliminate or reduce your electrical bills. Yeah, great. Increase your property values. Protect against rising energy costs, and take control over your energy during rolling blackouts. Yeah, those are all good reasons for us to think about solar. It's also, one more thing we can add is it's also a very progressive source of energy, a renewable source of energy, very abundant. It's putting less impact on our environment, and that's always a good thing. Okay, top 3 energy companies that we've researched. I think the exercise was, or the strategy or approach that was being pursued was to basically look at as many residential solar companies that are in both the South African market as well as European market and US and Canada, and as a starting point, and then try to find first, I think it was 10 companies that really inspired confidence, as well as seem to have a really great solution that they offered to homeowners or property owners, and then to narrow it down to the top 3, and then to basically follow our sort of pattern where it's, you basically curate down and then you model those 3, and then you try to improve from there. So then the idea is you can now understand what you're looking for from a provider that's going to come in as a partner to bring the solar solution into South Africa through Bribe.io. So what makes them better than, I guess, the alternative or other companies? It could be the quality, the reliability. So these are things that are being articulated through the research that was done. Continuous power production over a warranted life, 25 plus years. Warranty claims, what's getting covered, and then the company age was another qualifier. So like, we ideally want a company that has a bit of a track record and some success. So 5 years or more in the market. So this is the first one that was found. Silfab, North American energy or solar company, and it's 35 years old. So they've been around for a while. Automatic production line, 25-year warranty, performance warranty of 30 years. So that's number one. Number two is a Canadian one, Go Canada, founded in 2001. So 20-year-old company, solar power efficiency of 22.8%, or sorry, solar panel efficiency of 22.8%. Now, I actually have no idea what that means. So forgive me, I'm not going to talk to that.
It's a high number.
It is a high number. Yeah, well, there you go. As Paul said, it's a high number, and it's 15-year warranty and 25-year performance warranty. And then another United States company, SunPower, 1985, so 25-year company. And then these are some of the things that were evoked by these three competitors. Appearance, so good aesthetic, good presentation. A lot of these companies are obviously selling direct to consumer, they're selling online, and they've got local reps and so on. So appearance, power, performance, strength, peace of mind. Cool. Those are good virtues. So here's example for appearance. Black on black modules blending seamlessly to the roof. So yeah, that's a really good consideration. A lot of people say that the reason why they wouldn't go solar is because of the look, right? They don't want to make their house look really janky. So this is an example of a solution that looks maybe a little bit cooler, maybe a little bit more progressive than some of the competitors. You can see on the left there what the competitors would look like, and this is a little bit more of a modern, sleek module look. So yeah, cool. Power. So example of power is how much energy is it replacing or producing. I think one of the other factors that we're going to have to consider with a solution like this is like, are you able to store the energy, after you've generated, or is it just sort of kind of being used and replacing, sort of offsetting your other traditional energy, your hydroelectric, et cetera. So this one here looks like the output on Canadian solar provides about 20% more than traditional at 365 versus 405 watts, and then Maxium 5 from SunPower provides 420 watts, which is obviously much better, and it's going to give you more energy to go into replacing other options that you have. So innovative technology generates more power under partially shaded conditions. So that's cool. That's a performance feature that obviously anybody who's considering solar is going to want to think about. Is this something that I can use all year round? If you're in Canada, for example, is this something that I'm only going to take advantage of when it's like the sunny seasons, or is this something that I could, it could offset my bill? Because that's a consideration for payback time, right? Like if I'm going to be using something, I want to see how often is this going to make a difference, right? Is it going to take me 20 years or 10 years or 5 years to get, this, to break even or better from what I could do otherwise? So that's a performance feature that is pretty important, whether this works with, pure sunlight, or does it work in partially shaded conditions? it looks like one of the strengths for, I'm not sure which which one is being referenced here, but one of the three, maybe all three, basically have a ability to withstand a lot of aberrant weather conditions, including heavy snow load that could, potentially damage the panels, or high wind speed. We just went through that here in South Africa overnight, in Cape Town at least, where it was extremely, the place where I'm staying up on the mountain, it was shaking. So that would be something I'd be worried about as well. Is my solar panel that I just got installed, that's very expensive, now just flew off my roof in a storm. So that's something that obviously we want to understand that as well as a homeowner. So that's great. That's great that these solutions that are being studied are giving those type of performance features. And that's where we are with our research. And I think the only other thing that I know that Lindani and Stanley have shared with me is that they're in the process now of reaching out to different providers. So the idea here is not to build our own solar panels. The idea is to have a partnership of sorts. So you have installers / providers that come in, and then you also have a financing partner that's willing to basically finance the installation, and then we sell a marked up subscription. So you can kind of think of it like my background was prior to the last couple of years was doing a co-working project. And so we were kind of doing the same thing in co-working, where we would get a building and then we would parse it out at a markup for a lot of individual companies, right? And so it's kind of the same thing in the consumer realm, where we're basically just selling a subscription model where you don't have to pay for the hard costs of installation and all of that stuff. You're basically just paying a monthly subscription fee, and the ownership of you're essentially leasing the equipment. And we have a leasing partner that, or a financing partner, if you will, that is basically covering the upfront costs. And so that's the model. And there's conversations that are happening. There's some outreach. And then I think the big challenge that Lindani and Stanley are having is actually in the area of coming across professionally and instilling credibility at this stage, because they don't have a website up. They don't really have anything to sort of convince somebody to take them seriously. So that's what we're working on this week into next week. Is we have some agency resources that's going to help them out with giving themselves a landing page. They're also going to get some scripts that they're working on now that are going to get professionally reviewed, like copywritten reviewed. So essentially, like a lot of the other projects, I think the goal is to see where there might be some limitations with the existing team's resources and assets, and see if we can help them out to sort of take it to the next level, so that they can actually get back out there and get the results they're looking for, get into those conversations they need to get into. So I think that's the goal for the next week or so, is to get those conversations going. That's all I have.
Excellent.
My pleasure, Lindani. My pleasure. Sorry that you couldn't do that yourself, but I think it's great that you're starting to identify a model to aim for, and it's good that we have 3 companies now that we can start to dissect and get inspired by for South Africa. Any questions, guys?
I have very little.
I don't have any answers.
Going through research is always a little bit tough, trying to find out what the right questions to be asking is. It seems like it's a good start. And then after you sort of go through the top end, it's going to be, okay, well, what do the logistics look like? How do we get panels to, South Africa? Is it easier to do it that way? How does the supply chain kind of work? And just a little bit of, how to get the things there. And then being able to sell. Like, it's just a bit of a process. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with.
I think they're using SpaceX actually to fly it over, and they're.
You know what, Emery? I don't believe you.
We're so far. It's like, I don't know what else. How else are they going to do it, Paul? How are they going to get stuff here? I don't get it.
I imagine boats. Because hopes and dreams is kind of the next best thing to SpaceX at this point. But what do I know?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be probably freight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
which
you
is
guys looking
always
also-
terrifying to me.
Are you guys
Yes,
also
I know.
looking to do
Speed would be a challenge, right? For that, yeah.
Oh,
Speed
yeah.
speed to installation. Okay, we're gonna get your solar panel here. What year is it? Yeah, next year sometime. We'll install it. Don't worry, next year sometime.
Yeah, with the backlogs and everything going on, yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's
it
like
could be.
3 to 6 months depending on the port and what's wherever it's going. Like it's a huge struggle right now. And I mean, the best example of that, just for anyone that's actually dealing with shipping right now, is if you look at the auto industry, where you have used cars that are costing between 20 and 40% more now, just because new car inventory just can't get to North America from all the manufacturing facilities all around the world. So anything
Yeah.
that's existing in the market is becoming more expensive because supply and logistics is just a bit of a nightmare right now trying to catch up. It's fascinating, actually. I mean, horribly
It is, yeah.
inconvenient, but fascinating for a case study.
Yes, I agree.
Are you guys still looking to do white labeling for these devices that you're going to install, or is it just as is?
As is. I think first version is just going to be straight representing the other company.
Yeah.
And basically Bribe is more the business model than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if everyone is good, then we're going to keep moving along here.
Sounds great.
I know that sounded like a question. It wasn't a question. So next up, we've got Rachel. And just for anyone that's not seeing the chat, we've got Rachel, Nathabi, Shamsia, and then Shendrika is sort of our order here. And I know that I saw somebody else here. I don't know what happened.
Hamza, maybe?
Yes,
Hamza?
that's it.
Cool.
But for now, Rachel, hello.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Hey.
Doing good. Happy Friday.
Yeah, it's great.
That sounded a little sarcastic, Rachel.
No, Friday's good. I like it.
It's great. Yeah. I'm just used to sarcasm. I think everybody in my family is sarcastic, so I'm just assuming everybody must be.
Yeah, I'm
like
glad
when
that whenever you get a break from your family too, you spend time with us.
And it's not like mean sarcastic. It's just more like silly. It's like, kind of making, anyway, that's a whole other story. But yeah, I'm getting myself in trouble with that comment. I'm sure my mom and sister, other family members are going to be like, oh, what are you saying?
Fantastic.
I'm not sarcastic.
Well, shout out to Emery's family that's watching currently or on the VODs, whichever works. Rachel,
Yes.
are you all ready to go with your presentation?
Yeah, so it's not really like a presentation per se. I just have like a couple updates to share. And I figured I'd use some visuals because one of them is about logos. And I feel like it's really hard to talk about and explain logos without seeing them. So it's actually a couple sketches that Carla and a designer from Status Society helped me with. So I just wanted to show them to you and kind of, I guess, give a bit of an update on like the direction that we're going. Since I'm kind of completely rebranding everything. So kind of starting from scratch almost.
Super cool.
Before you show the logos, why don't you tell us why you're rebranding? That's probably a lot of people would be curious. Why rebrand? I mean, Local Provisions is such an awesome name. What's going on? What's going on, Rachel?
Yeah, so my thought about it was, I'm hearing feedback. Are you guys hearing feedback?
Yeah, that's Susahash a little bit, I think.
Okay.
Is it you? I'll go mute.
It's you. Sorry, buddy.
Okay. So yeah, I was thinking about it, and I do like the name Local Provisions. I was a little bit worried that maybe provisions is kind of, I don't know, like not a super maybe accessible word almost. And it doesn't necessarily imply gifts to me. So I was, just playing around with other names, and I was kind of thinking about sort of my why and like something that I really love about this business. And the one thing that I really love about it is seeing people's reaction when they get an unexpected gift. Because it was mainly me for the most part of this business, I did a lot of the deliveries myself. So I got to actually see the recipients' reactions to getting a gift, and their faces just lit up. And it just like made me really happy to see that. So I was trying to play around with the word bright and incorporate it into the name. And then I also had to find something that had a .com, which was very challenging. So we played around with the names as much as possible and ended up with Brightly Boxed. So, obviously you have to come up with a logo with that. When I was doing Local Provisions, there wasn't a logo. It was just a word in like a pretty cursive font. So it's actually kind of the first time I've ever really had to like actually design like a proper logo that could stand alone, even without text. So
Great answer. Wow. Put you on the spot there. I thought I was going to trip you up, but no. Rachel's smooth. She's good.
Fake it till you make it.
She knows exactly why she's rebranding. No, I think it's an awesome reason. I mean, it's a great. You obviously are doing it for the right reason. Absolutely, it's great. It's great. And especially with the new product direction, it makes sense. It's a perfect timing to do that. So cool. Good job. Excited to see what you came up with.
Let me bring up the visual, not a presentation overview for you here, Rachel. There we go.
Perfect. Okay. So this is kind of like the color palette that I really liked. So I actually just did some research using Canva, and they have like a million, actually it wasn't a million, it was 100 to be exact, different color combinations that are like kind of really popular and trendy like right now. And I just really fell in love with this one. I think it's bright. I like the yellow. I find it kind of helps emphasize the name, like Brightly Box. I think it like makes perfect sense. And then the designer actually recommended this color down here. Can you see my cursor when I'm moving around? I think so. This like cerise color, just to kind of balance out the colors. And I really like it. I think it looks good. So I'm going to skip to, these next two slides here. So I actually learned a new word, or a new concept, I suppose. It's called the Gestalt principle. And it's basically when you take a bunch of different shapes and you put them together to create a new shape. And that's kind of what the principle that was used to create these logos. You can kind of see it here as well. And the designer actually like came up with this, and I thought this was brilliant and a perfect way to actually explain the kind of like brand story. And, you know, when you're building a gift box, there's a bunch of different items that come together to create one box. So in a way, like these types of logos actually represent that concept perfectly. So I really liked that. These are all just sketches. So like none of this is final. The designer actually made these before I even talked to her, just based on a bit of direction that Carla gave her. So I think these are a really great start. She had a bunch of others too, kind of playing around with the idea of like the bee and Brightly Boxed. There's definitely something there because, you know, it's an alliteration, which I also really like about the name. But yeah, I was really drawn to this idea of like different shapes coming together to create a box. And yeah, there's also a bunch of different fonts too. Once again, I really like the cursive font. That's kind of what I had for local provisions. But the idea that we really like is to actually create, or to use two different fonts. So one cursive and one not, and then in different thicknesses. So Carla really liked this, and I have to agree, having like a thinner cursive font for Brightly, and then a more thicker not cursive font for the boxed part. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has any opinions about this. I would love your feedback. As I say, this is just like preliminary sketches. So none of this is final. The designer is going to work on different combinations of colors and shapes to kind of come up with a more final few logos. But I do really like the direction that she's going with this. And
how have you found the experience of trying to put a logo together? Because like I'm not graphically or color inclined. Those are two massive weaknesses of mine. So like, did you have any problems with it? Is it weird to kind of conceptualize it? Like how did you find your process of actually trying to pick a logo?
So I definitely found it difficult. So when I originally came up with the name, I just went on Canva and started playing around with some ideas. Looking at those now, they're like embarrassing and I wouldn't want to show anyone. But yeah, so for me, like I just personally really like things that are a little bit more conceptual. I kind of always have been drawn to that. And obviously like not having a design background, it's hard to just come up with something conceptual that actually looks good. So I do really like that Gestalt principle of like taking those different shapes and putting them together into a box. So when you kind of hear the story and you understand it, you're like, oh, that totally makes sense. But the logo itself is still a bit conceptual. So I think it's kind of an interesting balance of both, rather than just making it like a straight up like photo of a box or something, which is like way more on the nose.
Well, Rachel, you had us at Gestalt and alliteration. So that's all I could say. You know, you dropped the mic when you said those two words. I was like, okay, you know what you're doing.
Well, I just learned about the Gestalt principle. The designer was explaining it. I was like, wait, can you repeat that? What's that called? I need to look that up.
No, it's very clever. Yeah, no, I love the direction. I really like the actually the first one you should show. Honestly, I thought that was super cool. I'm not entirely sold. If I'm being honest, I'm not entirely sold on the two different type fonts, just because the logo is so, you know, unusual and beautiful and you know different. I would just have to see them together. I actually think it's a cool idea, but I almost feel like, you know, a lot of times when I see a lot of really fancy stuff done with typography, it's because it's actually the font. Sorry, it's the logo, like the typography, like local provisions. So I think you might be competing with your sort of iconographic logo with complicating and rather than simplifying the typography. And I say that also because this is a tech sort of play a bit. And so, you know, I feel like a lot of simplicity with the logo here that you have, and then having the two, as much as I like the concept of having the two fonts, I almost think that is like a one or the other kind of vibe to me. But you know what? Obviously, it's really what you love. You know, it's not about, I'm just giving you my 2 cents. I tend to go always sort of optimize for more simplicity, you know. So if you're going to do something fancy, you kind of have to, you got to give up somewhere else. You got to go, okay, well, I'm going to go real simple with with something else here, so that I can draw people to what I want them to sort of really remember as my logo. But anyway, other than that, I love all the direction. Like I said, I mean, I think both things you're thinking about are great. I would just have to see them together to see if they weren't competing or not once you do the final versions.
Yeah, no, you're totally right about that. I do think I have to like think of it more as like a tech platform, because I'm used to thinking it more like, you know, a gift box business. And I do think like cursive, it's like pretty, and I think people can like appreciate that in terms of like, you know, making nice gift boxes and stuff. But you're definitely right. That's a bit of a challenge too, right? Is like understanding like it's a completely different business now, and kind of like thinking about them separately. So that's a very good advice. And yeah, I definitely think we can just play around with many options and just see what ends up looking best.
Totally. Yeah. You're going to know when you put it together. Yeah.
Well, then that was it, right? Like, as long as it gets to the point where it's together, it looks good, you're happy with it, and it's not really it being on a screen. It's what does it look on the website, and when you put it onto a box or onto a card or when it goes out with product, what does that look like? Does it still have the same feeling? Are you still happy with it? And if that's the case, like, cool, rock it.
One other thing I'll say is I actually even like the illustrated version of it. So that's a good sign. So, you know what, I mean, obviously you're going to do like a sort of a computer generated version, of course, but I actually even like it like this. Like if you had said, hey, this is the final logo, I wouldn't have been like, hey, wait a minute, go fix it. I would have been like, this is cool. These are some cool options. Yeah. Like I really like the one on the bottom left and the top left or right. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I think they're all good options.
You know what's so funny? I actually like the bottom right one. There's something about a little bit of like whimsy in the midst of a logo. Like it makes me kind of happy for some reason, which is weird when it's just colors in a box. But like I really like them.
Well, I can see you animating this really cool ways as well. Like this could be a really cool like animation, like sort of explainer video of like how your items come together. And I can totally see I can already visualize the animation where you have like the shapes sort of assembled on the screen and it's sort of representing different types of products and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's super cool. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Great work. Yeah. Good job, Carla, and team as well, with Go Status Society. Big plug for the agency.
Thank you so much.
So I think the last question is, Rachel, what's on the docket for next week now? What's the next step? What's the next goal for you?
I mean, in terms of the logo design, I'm not really sure how long the designer needs, and I want to like push her to like work faster than.
No, push her.
Yeah.
Get it done. Get it done.
But yeah, like ideally, like I would want to get this kind of done as soon as possible, just because I have now been talking about Brightly Box on these live streams a couple times, but I haven't actually like announced it to anyone. But yeah, so I need to like officially change the name and introduce people to it. So that's definitely something I talked to Emery a little bit about this and kind of coming up with a strategy, and he brought up some really like interesting tips and things that I can do, like emailing my customer list. And I think a good piece of advice too is just to not overthink it. The business is still so new, so I don't think changing the name is like really that big of a deal. I just have to like take the leap and just do it. So once I kind of have all these components like the logo and all that, then I can at least start changing over the website too, because I own brightlybox.com, but it's not going anywhere currently. Everything is still local provisions. So that would definitely be my next step. Can I have all that done by next week? Like, probably not. But I definitely need to start taking the steps to like have it all done like fairly soon.
Awesome.
And Natabi says the design ideally, or I think it's Tula. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I always forget who this is, but it's one of our EIRs. She said the design looks really nice. The color palette goes really well with the name. I gravitate to the first designs you showed, but I'm looking forward to seeing the final logo. Bravo. Awesome. So there you go. You got some good feedback. Awesome work. Yeah, very excited for you. I love the the whole direction, like the new name, and local provisions. Can I now use that for something?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
No, don't give it to him. Sell it to him.
She's gonna go on my bio tomorrow, and I'm gonna be like, founder of Local Provisions. Oh gosh,
fantastic. Well, Rachel, thank you so much. Awesome work this week. As always, reach out to all of us if you need anything, but especially for the website stuff, I know that Susash might have one or two suggestions to make your life a bit easier about migrating.
All right, thank you.
See you later, Rachel.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome.
That was cool. Yeah. Very cool. That totally made up for Lindani. Sorry, Lindani.
I always feel like graphics are one of those things that it feels like it adds so much value, and it like everything becomes real as soon as you start having logos and graphics and all of that kind of associated with it. Like, it's a really weird kind of benchmark or sort of milestone in starting any company of like, okay, well, we've gone out, we've done all these things, that's great, but like now we have a logo that is like my logo, and this is my representation of the way things go, and like it's a very weird, odd, and satisfying feeling, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's sort of like almost like creates, like it personifies the whole brand, right? When you have something to look at that's sort of like the identity, right? It's such an important thing. I'm a big fan of a brand identity.
I mean, Susash and I went back and forth for 6 months a couple of years ago about the Meta Eye logo. Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Well, I remember you when I first looked at it like about a year ago when you had I think it was like for the incubator portion of the business, and you guys had a separate one, and then you went back and I started circulating the original one, and you're like, no, that's not the one we use anymore. I was like,
the little like blue TV, it was fantastic. Like conceptually, I think it hit all the lines. Where it was like the whole name, and there was artistry, and there was graphics to it, and it's just like, you know what? Like, simple is better.
No. Yeah, I think it's good.
Created confusion in like people are confused. They're like, so are you Meta Eye as a separate company? And then we're like, no, we're one brand. And then we're like, you know what? Let's go back to the original.
Yep.
Yeah, keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, it's Susash and I driving decisions where neither of us are graphic designers by any means. We're just like, no, we want all these things, and like I feel like I'm almost infamous for saying things that I want and not being able to explain them, or it actually makes somebody understand. I'm like, no, it needs to be blue and it should look like this. Like, okay, was this good? It's like, no. What don't you like about it? Like, I have no idea. I just hate it.
Yeah, it's an emotional thing. It's super
weird. Like, it's just a gut reaction. I did the same thing when I shop for couches. I'm like, why don't you like it? I have no idea. I hate
it. So true. So who's next? Who's
we have bringing into the arena? Natabi coming up, and then it's Shamsia and Chandrika, and then Hamza for the order here. And we've got just under an hour for our max time, so about 10 minutes each, and we should be in good shape.
Brilliant! Awesome. Let's. Why don't we give the next person a little bit of a warm up? Do we have a video we can play, like a transition video for? Just to get them all picked up.
If only I had 3 buttons with videos that played whenever I clicked on them. Like, I love watching Emery just rock out to all of the music in the middle of it. Like, I can still see everything. Special shout out at this point to Hamza, who said it was a great transition. I agree. If I could transition sarcastically 100% of the time, I would be a much happier person overall.
It would be cool if you could, have that video follow you around and you're in a meeting and you're just like, all right, transition this.
Yeah, that's it. You use the entry music whenever you go into meetings. Absolutely.
The personal theme music.
Yeah, I need Emery as a hype man. That'd be great.
Paul, transition before you begin. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right.
I could do that.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The pay is garbage. But as we move on here.
Nothing changes. Nothing changes.
All right, so let's keep going here. Good morning. Afternoon. I guess it's afternoon now for everyone.
It's evening here. So good evening.
I can't win. I don't know when I got stuck saying good morning to everyone, but like that's just how it is. I did it yesterday at a meeting that started at 4:30 in the afternoon. I think I've lost my mind at this point.
Well, it's morning somewhere, Paul, so you're not wrong. It is morning somewhere.
I'm not going to be that guy and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was pretending I was in New Zealand when we were talking. I'm silly me.
Nice. So Natalia, how's it going? How are you doing?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Well, you can't answer that way because you're throwing it back at me, and I feel like it's all back on me. I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm liking the hat. You're looking very like old school hip hop today. I like it. This is a good vibe. This is a good vibe. It's almost like I knew you were going to wear that hat, and that's why we put the music on right before you got on.
That's perfect.
So what have you been up to this week? What's new and exciting? Are you doing a presentation for us, or are you going to dance?
No dancing. I do have a short presentation, so maybe I could just present that.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Excited.
Okay, let me share my screen.
And then when you're done, Susash will have 6 questions for you. Exactly 6.
No pressure.
Before I know the presentation, I have the questions ready in my mind.
No pressure.
If we get through his 6, then Paul has 7. And don't even ask how many
All of that.
She'll have way more. Exactly.
I mean, I'll literally keep talking until someone cuts me off if I have to. So 7's pretty constrained for me. But I do see your presentation. Are you all ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Fabulous. I will bring it up and we'll hop out. So enjoy.
All right, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to be presenting my progress on the Moonshots project, which is basically healthy candy. So today I'm going to be speaking about the product manufacturing costs and packaging as well, and some of the things that I've already done regarding the product manufacturing itself. So I picked 3 products to manufacture, gummy bears, brownies, and marshmallows. And this table just shows the pricing of the ingredients and the ingredients that I want to use. So I decided to go organic and healthy. A lot of these products are either vegan, organic, or raw. So that's the direction that Moonshots is headed. And then I also had an idea to sort of like center an idea for each product. So for instance, the gummy bears would be gummy bears to soothe your throat or freshen the breath, or it could be immune boosting gummy bears, which I think I'd like to try out, especially now because we're in a pandemic and there's COVID. So I think that would be a good marketing strategy. The other idea I had for the brownies was brain function boosting brownies. So something to help you focus better, or to clear your brain fog. Yeah, that was the idea around the brownies. And then for the marshmallows, I couldn't think of anything as yet, so I'm still gonna work on that. So yeah, and then I got the total pricing for the cost. So this was like planning around budget as well for the product itself and the equipment that I'm gonna use to manufacture the product. And then here, this is just a more detailed list of the things that I would use to make the products and how much they cost. And then another thing that I thought about rather is the packaging and what kind of packaging I want to use, how much it would be, and also how we would brand the packaging itself. So the things that I want to consider for packaging is that they should be sustainable packaging, so something eco-friendly or recyclable, and the price point as well, something that's not too expensive, and then how much it would cost to brand the packaging itself. So these are some of the ideas that I saw online that I'm considering, but it's still work in progress. So I'm thinking of something like this, which is a sealable packet for the gummy bears. I really like this one. It could be used for brownies, I think. But the issue with this, I think it can be messy, especially if I put the brownies in without sealing them somehow. So maybe with this, I could use paper to wrap the brownie before I put it in the bag. Another idea that I liked for brownies is this one, where I could have a box with packaging and then maybe divide the box and just neatly put the brownies inside. And then this was for the marshmallows. I don't really like how it looks like, but I don't know, it could work, but I'm still searching for other ideas anyway. So before I get into the next steps, I actually did try some recipes out. I tried marshmallows and the gummy bears. So the gummy bears, unfortunately, I didn't take pictures to add in the slide, but so the first batch of gummy bears that I made, they came out okay, but I didn't like the fact that the consistency was a bit different from what we used normal gummy bears having. So I didn't like that. And the juice I used, it didn't really taste nice. So the first batch was bad. And then I tried a second batch. It's actually setting right now. So hopefully it'll taste better than the first one. And the marshmallows I haven't tasted yet because they're still setting. So the next steps is to continue searching for the right recipe for the three pilot products that I picked, which is the gummy bears, the brownies, and the marshmallows, and then find packaging that's sustainable and doesn't cost too much. And then also start thinking about pricing, how I'm gonna price each product and the quantities of each product, and then familiarize myself with Shopify and start thinking about the website and how it's gonna look like. So yeah, that's me. That's what I've been up to this past week.
Very cool.
I'm
awesome.
not sure. Like, there's some part of like that presentation that just resonates so hard with me because whenever I make something new for the first time, it's always terrible. Like 100% of the time, it's awful, and I don't know why. It feels like I'm just like I've never cooked anything before in my entire life. The first time I made stroganoff, it was the worst thing I've ever eaten. And I followed a recipe. I went through all the steps and everything properly, and it ended up terrible. So I'm just like, oh. You get it. Somebody else understands. Like, I feel so full right now. Like, it makes me happy almost. But the fact that you're still like working through it, you're going through the steps and you're kind of refining. You've got everything broken down into specifics. I like the way that you're approaching challenges. It seems like the pricing lists are fantastic. We also know that with wholesale, all those things go down as well. So out of the material cost for it, how many, like, do you, I'll rewind for a second. Have you actually figured out what the margin is relative to the cost of the goods to put all those things together? Like how much you can sell them for? Like, do you have that side of the market kind of figured out, or are you just in product dev mode right now?
For now, I'm just focused on the product. I haven't really thought about or done research around the pricing and what makes sense.
Edible first, right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I had a very similar question. I was saying, like, how are you going to approach the pricing strategy? And I think you kind of answered it, that you're going to do some research. So that's a good start. That's a good starting point. Like, let's see what the market's sort of selling similar products for. I think you have an advantage though, because this seems to be a product that's not going to have a ton of competitors because of the way you're approaching sort of the biohacking healthy angle. Versus everybody else just being sort of candy, right? You're like the healthy, optimized candy, sort of with candy with a purpose, if you will, right? So it's very cool. I think that you're probably going to be able to, have a premium. You're probably going to have some pretty good margins, I would assume, depending on, obviously, again, the other side of this is, are you approaching the whole market, or are you going to niche down to a specific type of user? And I'm hoping that you're going to be doing one of those two things and not the other. But that's my question for you. What are you doing for the your niche? Are you, like, in terms of your actual demographic niche or your audience niche? Who are you targeting, or are you targeting a niche?
Yeah, I think in terms of who to target, I believe that it's a product that anyone can enjoy, not just people who are health conscious. But then at the same time, when you put a product out to market, I think it's best to target a certain group of people. So for me, that would be people who are health conscious and vegan and all of that. And then eventually, I think it could be extended to everyone else, just because it tastes good and is also good for you.
That's like such music to my ears, Natabi. Like, virtual hug. That is exactly the answer. It's like, I'm so, honestly, I'm so happy to hear that, because it's the one thing that, if I could, like, say, out of a lot of the conversations I've ever had with early stage founders, there's so much consistency around the opposite conversation, which is that my product, like, they see the same thing you see, which is this product can serve the entire market, and I think I'm going to go after the entire market. And it's like, yes, that's great, but now you're watered down. Now you don't have, like, a specific language that you can use. Now you don't identify with anybody. Now nobody feels like it's special, because it's like for everybody. It's like for anybody. So you've nailed it. It's like, yes, your product absolutely should be sold to everybody on the planet, but that's not the starting point. Like, what is the starting point? So I love you said that. So thank you for, you're off to the races from my perspective. That's that's the best answer I've heard all day. Well, no, actually, there's been some other good answers, but that's my favorite answer so far.
Thanks. That it feels good to know that I'm on the right track.
Well, from my perspective, I mean, other people might disagree, but yeah, I definitely think you are. Absolutely. I think that's a great angle. And you know what, I'll sign me up. I'm health conscious and somewhat vegan. So I think I fit in your demographic. I will be one of the first in the line to buy, for sure. And I love snacks, but they're a lot of them are not healthy. So, you kind of feel bad when you're eating it, right? If you are extremely health conscious. So this is really cool, because as soon as you said, like, gummy bears and, like, marshmallows, I'm like, oh my God, like, all my favorite things. And then brownies, like chocolate, I'm like, oh gosh, this is scary. Like, how fun this can get.
Okay, so, first customer.
Oh yeah, sign me up. I'll once you perfected the taste. By the way, I'm not like
No,
I'm not
don't
like
listen to him. Send them now.
I'm not like
Send them
Paul.
the
I'm not
batch
like
you don't
Paul.
like.
I'm not like Paul, where he's like, just give it to me anyway. I don't care. I'm like, no. I want the end product. Like, send me the one you want to sell, and
Yeah,
I'll taste test
definitely.
that. So you got the taste tester, and then Paul's the poison tester. So you can just send him, the ones that you're not sure about. Get some feedback.
That's fine with me. I have cooked some awful shit in my life, but you got to start somewhere, right? Like it's all just it's a bit of a process. You got to iterate constantly, and then after you like it, you give it to all of your friends. If they like it, then it's okay. Like we've got something here. If you really like it and everyone else hates it, well, you've made a mistake along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think? Just last quick question for me. What do you think is the? Oh, sorry, Susash. I didn't mean to cut into you.
Sorry, I was gonna ask a quick question. Like the pricing, the way you have it, it's about like 200 USD, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it a monthly subscription? Is it bi-monthly? How are you looking at it?
So with the price point, I think it depends on how much product I can create from those amount of ingredients I bought for that amount. So yeah, right now I haven't figured out how much it would be per month, since I'm still testing the product and seeing what works well, what tastes good.
Okay, and what is the current market pricing for something like similar like this?
I don't have those figures as yet, honestly.
Okay, that's fair enough. But yeah, I think that's something that would be something you should figure out, because that's one of my things that can I afford it? Like, would I order it? Like, I love everything you're doing and you're niching down, which I love also. But my challenge is it seemed like it's a bit expensive. I have to pay 200 per month. That seemed, at least for me personally, it seemed like it was expensive. But if it's maybe over 2 months or 3 months, then it's not a bad idea. But yeah, so I would urge you to look into the pricing model as well.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'll definitely have a look at that. Thanks.
So I have more of a fun question for you. Out of the three, what do you think is going to be your best seller? Just if you had to guess. What's your gut telling you?
I don't know. I think gummy bears. I think if I get the gummy bears correct, and I think I'm just biased because I like gummy bears.
I would have gone for brownies.
I would have gone for brownies too. But the best thing about running your own company is when you're picking a niche to enter a market into, you get to pick whatever you want that makes sense. So if it's the gummy bear market, like, rock it. Absolutely. Emery apparently is going to be the best customer. Make sure you pre-sell them for 6 or 7 years of monthly deliveries, and you'll be fine.
I'm excited about the gummy bears because I can't wait till you get into gummy bear shapes, because you've got such, like, the brand. You can do some fun stuff with that,
Yeah,
for kids.
absolutely.
For kids. Yeah, so brownies I think actually are going to be a solid second, but I think you're right. If you nail like some of the design for the gummy bears, you may be off to the races there. And I also think you may be able to make the gummy bears so brownies is like more common, I think, in the market in terms of like, sort of different things you do with brownies. But gummy bears is, I think, just there's a little bit less competition. So maybe that may be something that, gives it a bit of an edge. But I think the guys are right here, though. The brownies are going to be a fierce competitor to the gummy bears. And then the marshmallows are just super cool. And that's going to be like the camper's delight. You're going to have folks going hiking with their marshmallows all day long. Yeah.
And I think it's a super interesting kind of look into consumer behavior as well, because brownies always feel like a much more impulsive thing, opposed to gummy bears tending to be like. So I have a desk of snacks because I work enough. So I've got probably 9 different bags of stuff just sort of sitting on a table about 8 feet that way. And all of it's like pre-planned. Like when I'm having bad days, I eat Fritos because, you know, I hate myself. And when I'm trying to celebrate things, I've got about 5 different types of chocolate. Like that's just how it is. So Gummy Bears feels like it kind of goes more into like the pre-planning aspect of it, of like I have a movie night, so I'm gonna do Gummy Bears, opposed to like whenever I go to Starbucks, nobody ever wants a brownie from Starbucks, but like 50% of the time I end up with a brownie from Starbucks.
I love how self-aware you are, Paul. It's just like you've got your categories of snacks for different moods. That's amazing.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. My partner, who is absolutely wonderful, I am miserable to spend time with sometimes. and they put up with a lot.
So she's got like a sort of a safety valve where she runs over to the table and throws something at you, and it's like, go eat this, and then come back and talk.
Yeah, no, is our preferred method of conflict resolution. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. That's funny.
Honestly, that was awesome. Like, thank you for the presentation and the work. It looks like you're on the right path. Like, I have very little criticism at this point. Like, you're kind of just the steps. You know where you need to go. You know what the obstacles are. Cool.
And Susash is going to send you a Shopify tutorial post haste.
Yep.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Awesome.
And it's not for just you, it's for all the IRs in case someone's feeling left out.
He's recording it in his secret bunker as we speak in the background. So it's happening in the background somehow. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you once again next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. See you. Bye. That was awesome. Today
has been awesome. I'm a big fan of everything that's going on. Like, the EIRs are making progress, all the steps are correct, like, and it's all logical.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at it objectively, it's just like, we've got to dig through product dev, so these are the steps, then we have to do this, how we're going to look at it, where's the market going? It's all fantastic. And, you know, I'll say this again. Sorry, go on, Emery. You're very excited about it.
I said our kids are growing up. It's so adorable.
And I'll sort of say this again. If you feel like you're stuck, or if you can't find research, if you're not sure what the demographic is, if you're stuck on tech, or you can't find a great walkthrough, or like whatever it is, reach out to one of us. Reach out to all of us. It doesn't really matter. Try not to feel stuck, because feeling stuck always just like it eats time, right? So you either pay for a service because it saves time, or just have a conversation with us. We're here. That's what we do.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Great job, ERs. On a serious note, it was. It's very encouraging.
Absolutely. So we do have, I believe, 3 more, and we have 30 minutes. So we're okay. We've got about a 4-minute contingency. So if we go over, it's Emery's fault.
So Carla, you're going to have to shut up this time, okay? Stop with all the long-winded answers and questions.
That's why I'm not talking, because I'm just actually running out of time. It's going to invoice you. And if he sends you an invoice, I'll have to send you an invoice, and you'll just be broke after this.
Don't worry.
Yes.
Carla, I've got you. I'll get you an IC contract later. It'll be fine. So as for our list, it's going to be Shamsia. I know, right? It's going to be Shamsia, Shangrika, and then Hamza is our list for the rest of the day here. And we're just going to keep trucking along here. Shamsia, hello again.
Hello.
Oh, no, your sound's not working.
No.
Yep.
No. You can't hear
No, I can't. Sorry, I can't hear you. I assume you're going to restart. You'll do the same thing that always happens.
Yeah. Same as last time. You have to do whatever you did last time.
It's like I'm dating myself, but it's like the Fonzie kick. You got to kick the computer once, and it works.
And like I know for a fact that like she tests it before she hops on every single time.
Oh,
too.
Of course she
and,
does.
It just doesn't agree with it.
Yeah, I had a hard time this morning too. I had loaded up and I couldn't get in for some reason.
Hello.
Hey.
Nice.
What, do I have to always go back and come in?
You were just saying, I'm like, I know for a fact you test it every single time before you hop on here.
Oh my god, I think I think the system just gets bored waiting.
Yeah. It's cool. It's you're kind of like it's like a celebrity move. You know, you come in and it's like we've got to like bring you back in, announce you one more time. You got to get announced twice.
I'm so not happy with this move. I need to reinvent something. Okay. So yeah, nice to see you all, and awesome presentation so far. And it's just let me just start mine and let's get to digging and getting all the 2 cents that I have to get from you all.
Awesome.
Yep,
Looking forward to
fantastic.
it.
Yeah.
Yep, I see your screen.
Just wants to have a bit of suspense so that it sort of builds up the.
Well, I always wait too, because every time someone shares a screen, it shows like the broadcaster, right? It'll go through
Yeah.
everything that's here, and like for documentation, anything sensitive, like I kind of wait till I see PowerPoint pop up or some variation of slides, and then I'm like, all right, great, come over.
Nice.
Much like this very smooth transition that I didn't plan whatsoever and was stalling for. All right, Shamsia, floor
Can you
is
see me?
yours. Yes, everything looks great.
Okay, cool. So I'm just continuing from the pitch deck, the same slide, so that I have a track of exactly how my mind is working, and it's easy to document everything on the same presentation. So this is quite an intense list that I had planned for my week, but it seems like I've just started working bottom down. So I'm going to be looking in detail about the social media content for Haven Nut. Look into the website and start planning with all the other team members how we can reinvent that for this year. And for now, I will be talking about the research, little bit of research that I have done on the potential suppliers, and also starting to put together the subscription box a little bit so I can share it with you all and get some good feedback on that. I've started working the list that Emery sent to me. This is already that the research was already done about the suppliers before. So I'm just doing one at a time, and it's quite taking some time. So the first brand that I was looking into, vegan cuts, they're pretty good. They're quite famous, US and Canada. They have some amazing mix of things going on in their box. The branding is good. They're obviously vegan and organic, and a lot of different items. But I'm looking into the pricing, and I'm trying to see if that works for us as a brand. And also, I'm prioritizing the ingredients, the calories, the proteins, the nutritional information is very important. So I'm just studying each and every product that they have, just to see if it is in sync with the whole vision that Haven has as a brand. The next brand that I've looked into is Sun Foods. This is quite detailed. The company does a lot of things, not just subscription boxes. They have their own products, and it's it's amazing. Like when you go into the website, you kind of get lost about the amazing stuff that they have, very new things. So a lot of different ideas that we can add to our box. A little brief here about the pricing. Not really convinced. They're a bit expensive. And also they're US based, so they do have a website for Canada, but it doesn't really have all the products that they sell in US. So we have to talk about the shipping costs and if we are ready for that at this point. So those are the questions that I'm just writing down for myself. Okay, this is another brand that has really gotten me excited. Something that I stumbled upon yesterday. It's called Midday Squares. They're doing pretty good. And the best part is that it kind of looks like what Haven was making initially in the squares. And they have, and the packet comes with 2 squares, and the nutritional information that they are showing is pretty good. It's something that we are quite in line with what Haven is also looking at. And each square that they have is around 33 grams. So that gives you a choice if you want to eat the whole thing, the whole packet, or you just want to take one. And I really like the flavors that they have. They have something, and they also have like this box, which is called a starter box, and which has like a mix of all the flavors that they are producing. So we can just order that and see how it works. But they are a bit expensive, so I'm going to see if that works for Haven or not. Okay, these 3 brands are very famous. Everyone knows about them. This is just a snapshot of what I was looking in on Amazon. The pricing is good, but the nutritional content not so good. They don't really look like something Haven would stand for. But probably, but there is another brand, another product by Lara Bar here, which is something that is super exciting because it just has 3 ingredients, which is dates, peanuts, and sea salt. And that's very similar to what Haven was producing. And if we can get this into the subscription box, that would be amazing. So this is going to be one of the products that I'm keenly researching. The nutritional content is good. They're vegan, they're non-GMO. And the 3 ingredient thing is something I'm super excited about. And it's just fairly new, this particular product. Okay, and this is another one, Palm Bites. They're Canadian, Mississauga-based company. They make these small date balls and bites, and they kind of like, I just saw their website yesterday. They have some amazing products. They even have dried nuts and dried fruits. They make some brownies and squares. So it's a brand that I'm studying for now, and they look very pretty. The packaging is very nice. What we have to see is how many ingredients and the kind of nutrition, that the values that they're providing, is it good for Haven as a brand? And this is something that I found, that they make almond butter. Why I like this, I mean, obviously you have other brands, but this is something that is it's very close to being homemade, and it's organic. The packaging is very simple, and they have a lot of other different nut butters, which I feel like would be a good addition to the box. It's something I'm studying right now. And also it just looks very pretty somehow. Okay, so the other thing that I was doing this week was figuring out how to design the box, as in what all products we could visualize Haven as Haven subscription box. So some of those things that presented here is what was the research that was done earlier on. I think they had envisioned the box to have dried fruits and nuts and different kind of mixes and drinks. It's something that gave me a good head start, and I'm just working towards seeing what are more different options we can add on, so that our box just doesn't come across as just portraying something that is healthy or nutritious, but also there has to be a lot of value. It's something that is new, innovative, because there's so many different things out there today. The more I see all these websites, there's such intriguing things. So I feel like if we can get 1 or 2 of those things into a box, we can add great value with the price that we are putting out. So these are just what I was planning in my mind. So I was thinking our box should have protein bars, fruit leathers and rinds, seeds and nuts, which are dried, trail mixes, nut butters, nut butter bites, whole wheat and chocolate cookies that are organic, vegan, and made with really good, awesome stuff, and popcorns and some salty, savory, crispy treats, and smoothie blends, which are probably something we could think about. Yeah. So that's what I've done for this week.
Brilliant. That's awesome, Shansia. Nice job. Nice job.
Yeah,
Very
I like
good
the
progress.
idea of tracking your progress in, like, instead of doing a new presentation every week, throwing it in just as sort of like cumulative slides is pretty awesome.
Yeah, very sensible. Very good. Good idea. I have a question for you real quick. Do you think about, what about healthy chocolate? Would you consider that in the boxes?
Yes, I would. Actually, there was a brand that I was looking at, and I think it's somewhere in Ontario. I really like the concept. They have matcha, and they have all these nice, intriguing ingredients in the chocolate. So yeah, that would be a good addition to it. Yeah, for sure.
I've got a surprise. I got a surprise for you then. Can I share my screen really quickly? I'm going to show you something that I've been working on that I think you might be excited about then, if that's the case. Okay. I'm going to share my screen, Paul. Just pull this up.
Oh yeah, this is the one I was looking at.
So Minimalist Chocolate, we met with the owners today, and I'm gonna say that I think we can get this in your box, and this is a exclusive. This is like David, that's the owner. he has a very similar vision to you. And when I saw you get so excited about the 3 ingredients that Lara Bar put out, this is 2 ingredient chocolates, and the texture is better than anything I've ever tasted. It's incredible. So they do one that's milk chocolate and pure chocolate, but they also do another one that's oat milk chocolate. So it's vegan, oat milk chocolate, and then milk chocolate. And they also have started doing 3 ingredient smaller candies like the ones that are on the screen. So like where you can basically get pistachio plus chocolate plus, and I'm going to tell you, like, this is some of the best chocolate I've ever tasted if you are into chocolate. Now this is like, no sugar added typically, all that stuff. So some people, it might not be sweet enough, but if you are into darker, sort of more bitter chocolate, it's really tasty. And especially when you add the infused ingredients, like basically mixing one other ingredient like Lara Bar did, you can actually even take a sweet ingredient. And like, so for example, the one that has the pistachios in it, it actually has like a really nice sort of, it's not bitter at all. It's like a very, sort of almost like salty, savory kind of flavor profile. But these are exclusively going into the market, and we may be able to get Haven as one of the first, if not only boxes that can actually use the product. So yeah, so that could be a profile for us.
That's really nice. I really like it, but this is not what I was looking at. It's just the shapes that just got me confused. But this is nice. Is this like a Canadian company?
It's a South African company, but it's incorporated now in the US, and it's planning on going into the US and Canada.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was born out of South Africa, but they're going international. They're also going to be going into the European market as well. So it's brand new. They're very early stage, like same sort of little further along in product development than probably like Haven, but it's like a very early stage startup. That's
where are they sourcing their cocoa from?
Good question. They have a couple of local sources here, but they are very much into sustainability and fair trade and making sure that they're using like only the most ethical cocoa beans. I'll get back to you on that. That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly which farms they're using, but I know that. So the owners actually have another company that's all about sustainable harvested coffee beans. So they have a very very famous coffee company here in South Africa called Truth Coffee, and they're very much into the same sort of ethics around where they're getting their coffee supplied from and so on. Yeah.
Definitely. Who doesn't get excited about chocolate? I mean, we would love it. I was just going to say coffee.
Cool. Well, we've got an in, so we can help you out with that. We're going to be doing some marketing for them as well. So fantastic. we can definitely get them connected with Haven.
Yeah, fantastic. Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so well, unfortunately, I'm going to keep moving this along here, but thank you for the presentation. Awesome, lovely as always.
Thank you.
I mean,
great job.
At some point, I'll have like some criticism for you. I don't know when that's going to happen. I figure eventually we'll get there, but
I'll wait for it.
I can't wait either.
I actually have one comment, Shamsia. Like, I know that in the product list, you have a bunch of different products. Do you think to start, do you need all these different product lines, or can you simplify it? Can you start with?
No, I want to simplify it. Those were just options.
Perfect.
I want to talk with the team and keep it as simple, but add great value to it, not just mix everything up, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're on track.
Thank you.
No
Thank you all.
Great job, Shamsia. We'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, and now we have Chandrika, and then we have Hamza.
Awesome.
So we're just going to keep moving along as quickly here. Not good morning, Chandrika. How are you?
How are you, Paul? Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you, Chandrika.
Thank you, Emery. It's nice to see you as well.
I do see you're sharing your screen. Do you have your presentation all up and ready to go?
Yes.
Excellent. Cool. I see it. We will hop out, and the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Excited.
So, me too. So the idea here is to revamp Heavenly Street. So earlier we were doing organic soaps, and now we have kind of shifted from that towards a sustainable online store. Reason being, while researching for the competitors and the products, I came across some really, really good brands and really good homemade soaps. And I was just thinking like it felt more like just crowding the market. And I would rather, use my platform to uplift the brands or owners like these, to have an audience to display their products, and we can just extend marketing, packaging, and delivery support to them. So that's what Heavenly Street is going to be about. It's going to be our sustainable online store. So there are some other reasons, like the kind of impact I wanted to make using that brand with the earlier product and the project. I think it was not really aligning with the end goal that I had. And here are some of the goals that we are going to pursue through this project. And one is environmental quality, because everyone needs clean air to breathe and water to drink. There has to be a non-toxic ecosystem where every living being can survive and thrive. So I think it's no longer a matter of choice for us. It's kind of urgent, considering the circumstances that have been going on, like the wildfire, the floods everywhere around the world. Now, next is sustainability. We obviously need to have something that we leave behind for the next generations that are coming up, and we really don't want them to starve if we exhaust all our natural resources. So that is kind of another reason that I don't want to, build a product and just try to throw it into the market. I think there are already kind of many good products and services out there, and we just kind of, give them a platform to display their what they have to offer. Next is going to be the 4 hours of recycle, and that is going to be a critical element of this project. So what we are going to do is our main agenda here would be to reduce the waste. Like there's a lot of, with e-commerce, there comes a lot of packaging waste. And also because people shop a lot sitting at their homes, there's also, they kind of hoard a lot of stuff. And then they keep on buying new stuff, and the old stuff, either they just goes out, it goes into the garbage. So the idea here is to give them an option to resell the old product, and the manufacturers or the vendors that are collaborating with us, they can just use that material to refurbish it, recycle it, and resell it. And next is, I want to maximize the value that both the sellers and the consumers get from their commercial relationships. So that is kind of be one of the themes of our online store. Next would be to support the local vendors that we have here. So I'm actually kind of looking into the process, already looking into it, like how to reach out to the local suppliers and what are some local popular brands. And for that, I have some few ideas that I would like to speak on later. And next, ultimately, the mission is to, right now we may be starting with one store, but ultimately, like over the years, I would like to see it grow into a marketplace like we have Amazon. It is like on Amazon, everything is sold. But here, I just want that everything good, organic, socially driven, and responsible, ethical products to be sold. Our motivation, I think it's time to speak of it rather like a necessity, because like I said, given the circumstances where the world is being consumed by the wildfires, storms, floods, there's violence, there are irreversible climatic changes that now we cannot do anything about. So I think it's time we realize the role that we are playing in this as a business or even as a consumer. So do we want to chase the materialism, the wealth, the luxury that comes with these substandard products, or do we want to save the world, or maybe just save ourselves? So speaking more on what role do we play as e-commerce or as consumers? So it's basically quite simple because it's dependent on the demand and supply chain. Usually what we want to sell is what consumers want to buy. And it's not just the way that like we can't sell everything in the market. We need to have a demand for that, something that people would like to buy. So if people would choose to buy organic, ethical, sustainable products, that is what we or most businesses would want to sell. So that is why it is important to have smart consumers and people who are pro environment, pro life, and that's the kind of people we will be targeting with our brand that we will be looking towards. Next, how we sell it. It may be our choice, but it also depends. Like people can choose to buy from brands that are using sustainable practices, ethical practices, and or they can choose to just go with any brand. It's basically their choice. If they try to actively avoid brands that are not using sustainable practices and the ethical practices, they would actually leave them with no option other than to start doing stuff, like start using sustainable practices, start being more aware, more knowledgeable, and be more responsible. So I think the choice of the customers can actually push the businesses to be more responsible and more pro environment, is what I want to say. So as a new business stepping in the market as an e-commerce platform, our pledge is to be one of the leading sustainable online marketplace where people can buy socially, ethically responsible products without worrying about its impact on the environment, because we are going to take care of that part for you. What we need is your support and for you to use your power of choice carefully. So here are some statistics that I wanted to share why I think it's a good idea to go ahead with an online store, and why I think it can actually work. So I did research a lot of competitors, but there wasn't like they were quite specific. Like we have a specific store for bath and body products, we have a specific store for sustainable fashion, or a specific store for like handmade heirlooms and stuff like that. But there was not a one-stop solution for everything. So I think that's what I want to achieve here. And reason being, and here are some of the statistics. Like a Forbes report showed that 62% of Gen Zs prefer to buy from sustainable brands. So I think that's something that is quite inspirational for me. And I am very glad to read this, because ultimately we think that nobody cares, but people do care, and the statistics speak for that. And there's a Nielsen survey that says that 73% of the global consumers say that they will definitely change their buying habits to reduce the environmental impact. A survey of 6,000 consumers in North America, Europe, and Asia found that 72% of the respondents reported actively buying more environmentally friendly products. Research by NYU Stern School of Business found that 50% of the growth from consumer packaged goods from 2013 to 2018 came from products marketed as sustainable. Also, the millennials at 75% of respondents are more likely than baby boomers at 34% of respondents to say that they are actively changing their habits to be more sustainable. So we are counting on consumers like these, people like these, and that's how we are going to niche down our market. So talking about our platform, this is kind of the initial vision I have. I do not have a website yet, so I cannot just throw visuals in, but I would just kind of talk about it a little bit so that people can have some sort of idea what it's going to look like. So like I said, our claim is going to be an eco-friendly, sustainable, cruelty-free, and socially responsible platform. And the way we will support that claim is going to be with hard data, because people do struggle with greenwashing. Greenwashing is a term that is used for businesses who claim that they are eco-friendly, but they are not. They are not transparent. They do not have any evidence to support that their products are eco-friendly. So many people are, get encounter that kind of stuff when they're buying online, and we are going to counter that by providing hard data, the evidence that okay, our stuff is actually eco-friendly. And how we are going to do this, it's going to be one another presentation. So every single product or service will be ethically sourced from handpicked local vendors, and everything will be packed in 100% recyclable materials, keeping in mind reduced packaging and recycling policies. Next, every delivery will be made with the help of carbon neutral delivery partners. So there are some delivery services and organizations that are actively trying to reduce carbon footprint. And if they are not able to, like, with delivery, there is some carbon footprint. So what they do is they use part of their profit to contribute to the movements, like who are actively trying to reduce the carbon storage in the environment, in the atmosphere. Next is recycle economy. What that means is what I shared before, like we will have an option on our website to resell the old products and to the manufacturers, and manufacturers can use those products to create new products. Next, our platform is obviously going to be socially driven, which means a part of your purchase will go to our movement partners who are actively working to fight climate change, environment degradation, hunger, cruelty, discrimination, or violence, with a mission to create a safe and healthy ecosystem for all living organisms to thrive. Next, our premium membership will not be like most brands, which is just another purchase, like you have to pay a certain amount to be a premium member. In our case, the membership will be based on their contribution towards each cause. So we are going to look at the kind of purchase they have, and how it is supporting our movement partners. And based on those statistics, we will be distributing our premium memberships. Next is every month we will feature one local brand, so that the customers, they are an active participant in audience and making their journey successful. So that is something I really wanted to do because it's kind of close to heart. Next is you will receive weekly newsletters on the progress of the movement partners, so that the customers know that the contribution they are making is actually helping them change the world. Next, ultimately, we cannot forget our heroes, our customers. So they will be the center of everything we do, and they should be ready for some occasional surprises and tokens of appreciation. So these are some of the featured categories. Obviously, they are going to be product-oriented categories, so I would rather call them more value-based features. So there's heritage and tradition. There will be brands that will be specifically manufactured by people of color. We will be featuring some products that will be women-owned, because as you know, there are a lot of moms out there. There are a lot of women out there who are building some awesome products in their kitchens, and they are going to be locally made. There are going to be handmade products, vegan. There's going to be products that are completely about no waste, like where there's no waste at all. And then there are going to be gender neutral products. There's going to be a category where it is specifically going to be called give back. So every product in that category will be aligned to one specific cause, and you will receive feedback once you make the purchase, like how is that purchase going to help or support that particular cause. Next is remade, refurbished products. There's going to be an option to resell, and yet our own nature basket, where we will have our organic soaps and some other exciting stuff. Next, what our criteria would look like for vendor selection. So here's some of the things that I would be looking at. The vendor has to be there should be no slave policy, no child labor. The employees must be paid a fair working wage and living wage. There should not be any kind of discrimination. It should be diverse and inclusive workplace. The hours of work should not be excessive, or the employee should not be overworked. There should be decent working conditions, keeping in mind the health and safety, including the psychological health and safety of the employees. Next, the products should be sourced ethically and sustainably. The business should instill those ethical values in not just for the marketing sake, but throughout their organization. Next is your product should be made ethically and sustainably, and in the end, transparency and accountability, because that's what we are trying to offer to our customers. So support us, because by doing this, you're helping the makers, the local vendors, and the movement partners bring a positive change in the world where almost everything is mass produced and sold at a competitive price, while disregarding the impact it will have on the environment and the life it contains. Thank you. That's all.
Wow. Microphone drop. Microphone drop. That was really impressive. That's an amazing pivot. That was like the one of the top all-time pivots, definitely for Darkhorse's history. So that was, yeah, very cool, man. That's super cool. Great job with the presentation. I know you went a little over, but it's great because there's a lot there that you needed to share, and I think it's very inspiring for many of us. Hopefully all of us, but it's a tall order. I love it because that's how I think. It's like, let's do something that's seems impossible, but we're gonna work away at it, because that is the vision that, the stuff that you described is the vision that we want to see all products to be one day. I always kind of joke that in the future, everything should be what you described in your presentation, but not now. Like we're sort of in this transition period, and hopefully the transition's going in the right direction. And you're right, like consumers are voting with their dollars. So if we give them better alternatives. But I love the features. I think that having it categorized that way so people can search for their own priorities is brilliant. So great job. Awesome work. I have nothing. I know we don't have a lot of time. I actually do have lots of things to say, but I'm just going to leave it there.
Thank you.
One super quick question. What do you feel like your biggest roadblock is right now?
My biggest roadblock is going to be, actually hunting for those local vendors, the kind of products that I want to display on the website, because making a promise is one thing, but actually executing is another thing. So I would be like spending most of the time looking for value-based vendors. So that's going to be the biggest roadblock and the biggest achievement from this project for me.
So I actually have two quick questions, part 1 and 2. One is really, the vendors that you're going to look for. Do you think it's feasible for us to do, like Emily said, it's a very commendable project, but in terms of time, we only have 3 months left. Can we execute on this, or is it a smaller version of this?
We can. Initially what I was thinking is like we will have product-based categories, so we can just start with. I was looking for like top trending products that are being sold in Canada right now, and I have come up with a few categories that we will start with. So that would be our starting point. So it's going to be, that's why I said it's going to be just a store, a small store right now, and it's not a marketplace yet. It's going to be a marketplace when we will have that diversity among our products. So it's going to be a simple store right now, where a few products will be sold.
Is then if we're going that route, how do you do the store? Like, do you start off with because it's ultimately you have to build your own platform, which is going to take a lot of time and effort. So how do you start off for the initial customers or the initial launch?
So what we are going to do is the first thing that I'm going to do right now is the idea that I had with this project was, because some of those local brands or the sellers will already have an audience or a customer base. So they can also refer this store that they will be displaying their products on to their customers, and
but
that
could it's an online store, right? So my question is how do you do the online store in such short time? Because as a platform, what you're describing is quite a lot of features, right? Like on a recyclable, people can do all the stuff. That's a lot of features. So how do you go about this in a short time where at least you launch something?
So the first thing that I'm going to be focusing on is getting the websites ready as soon as possible, because if we do not have a platform to display, like it's not going to work. Even if I'm reaching out to local vendors, I will have to show them something like, okay, this is where I'm going to display your products. This is where the customers are going to buy it. So the first thing is to get started on the website. And I have actually spoken a little bit about it with Embry, that I want to get started on it as soon as possible, because everything else that I'm doing will be done like simultaneously.
So when you say website, you're talking about landing page, right? But that's not the like people cannot interact with it. So how do you solve
Susash, I think you're misunderstanding. So what she described is that it starts off as just a simple store, like a Shopify store, and then later, eventually, it becomes a platform. Yeah. Eventually it becomes a platform, so she's not going to build any tech. There's no tech being built.
That's exactly what I was trying to get to, because like you cannot build that tech. That's my
it doesn't have the time. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so if it's a Shopify store, that's fine, but then you wouldn't be able to do all the features. Like you cannot set up a recycle. You can simply take orders, sell like ethical products, things like that with the value. Cool. Sounds like a good plan. Cool. So I look forward to you being able to successfully execute this and get some customers.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Susash.
Well done.
Yeah, it's the reinvestment play, right? So once you get customers, you can reinvest into the platform build, and Susash can help with that for sure. So, that's a much longer project.
We can
Much longer
Shopify
project.
if you need help. I'm putting together a presentation, but yeah, let's chat.
Okay.
Thanks, Chandrika. Awesome work. Yeah, very
Awesome.
inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's tough because she's articulating the vision, Susash, and I know it kind of got a little bit
Yeah.
where's the separation?
Right, and like you say, it's the biggest pivot. So I was like, what? So I was going through it. Okay.
Yeah.
But
it's like, so we're going to build Amazon in 3 months. 3 months, Amazon 2.0.
there you go. And it's sustainable Amazon. It's ethical. Yeah. That's.
But
awesome.
it's yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great vision though, because now that you have that sort of North Star, you can go, okay, well, what's going to get us there? But you're right. Yeah. It's, you need to start with basically the basics to start.
Knock one small thing at a time and then get there.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. I think we have our last call.
Yep, last CIR of the day.
Nice.
Hamza, how are you?
Good. How about
Hamza.
Hey.
How's everyone?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Can't complain. I know that it's been a bit of a week for all of us. So you know what? It's a nice celebration. This call is a nice celebration, or this show. So thanks for joining us on the ride.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start off by just giving an update. Start from the beginning, just giving Paul and Carla an idea where I'm at. Because I didn't really present so far anything for them. I've been more in touch with Susash and you. So I guess for the past month, what I've been doing is that I started with a project. I thought of more of a product first and then tried thinking of the problem. And I guess I had meetings with Susash, just go through what I can do for the next step. And it's just that mindset you have where you think you have a really good idea, $1 million idea. And when you're putting that into play, you just notice there isn't a market for it. There's a lot of stuff that you can't actually figure out. And that's what Susash helped me realize. So what I did was that I thought of an idea first. And that's basically what I did for the past month. Just think of an idea that'd be successful, but don't think of the idea first. Think of a problem that you can solve, an everyday problem most people have, and try solving that first. So what I came up, I made a list, right? And then what Susash and me talked about was that the most successful one would be a subscription manager. So a common problem most of us have is having a lot of subscriptions, for Spotify, for Netflix, for Apple TV, anything like that. But it's just that you don't have a reminder, or you don't have something to just keep everything organized and give you an idea of what your monthly bill is, where you're getting paid from, where the fees are coming from, stuff like that. I had a problem like that, so I had a Netflix subscription for quite a while, but it's just that I wasn't actually using Netflix. I stopped using Netflix, but it was just I was paying $10 a month just for nothing. And I looked at the market for it, and there's a lot of apps for it. It's just that no app is popular enough. The most downloaded app, it has only 600 reviews, and that's the most popular app there is on the iOS. On Android, the most popular app is an app that has, I believe, 2,000 downloads, 2,000 reviews. So the scope for it is big, but the market right now is really small. So what I thought of was that I'd start building an app according to that. The route that I take is not actually coding it. It would be using a no-coding app. I already have experience with building games through GDevelop and BuildBox. So I thought it'd be a great start building an app like this with no coding.
Awesome.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Definitely something I would use.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you didn't know you needed until you hear about it.
Yeah, totally. I think the hardest thing for you, Hamza, is going to be your niching down. Who do you target first, right? Because there's so many. I mean, I feel like it's definitely something that everybody could use. It's we always say it's the dilemma.
One problem that I had was I haven't really got to the marketing portion of it, but I was just thinking it's a problem everyone has. Anyone you meet on a daily basis, you go do you have this problem? They say, yeah, it's something you never know you need it, but until you actually have it. So a lot of these apps, if you take one of these subscription managers app and like you just did a better job of marketing it, it have much more downloads, much more people actually like using it, and like anyone in this call, like I can guarantee you there's some sort of subscription you have, maybe cable, maybe Netflix. It's just something that you need, but it's just like you need to find like a way to market it without like the scope is really big for it. It's just that the market right now is really small.
Yeah, I think you have so many upsell features that you could create around this idea of sort of managing people's sort of subscriptions expenses, and the world is moving to subscription, so it's something where there's going to be more and more growth in that area. So there's so much more opportunity for you to do that. I'm wondering if there's a freemium play for you where you can give away something for free just to get them on your platform and your tool, and then maybe there's a limited number of subscriptions you can manage for free, and then it converts over to like some sort of pay model. That'd be something interesting to consider or explore.
So I looked into that. There's like I looked at a lot of reviews. I looked at what a lot of the apps did wrong, and just like do like the opposite of it and like get it right. A lot of the bad reviews are just like if you have a subscription manager app, why are you paying? Like it just contradicts what you're doing. So you're making an app, but you're charging it as a subscription. The reason you have the app in the first place is just to like manage the subscriptions. So I was thinking like it'd be better as like a one-time payment. Maybe there's like a demo version of it, so like you try it out. You like the max subscription that you can make is just one subscription, just to like get an idea of how it works. And then you have a one-time payment of maybe say $2 or $1. Like there's an app in iOS right now. They charge $6 for the app, but they already have like 50 or 60 downloads. So that right there is like already the production cost for the app.
Right. Very cool. Well, especially if it's a no-code app and you build it out like pretty lean, and then you can always upsell additional features in the future as well if it's something where you're adding new value, and you can go back and say, hey, do you want like this add-on or whatever, if there's something else that you end up building or expanding from. So that's an interesting idea. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of how you like keep improving or developing on your product.
Yeah. So I was thinking, like Carla also mentioned before how like the program that she's making, it's going to be a Chrome extension, just like as a reminder. I believe it was Carla, I forget, but it's just like a reminder thing where like if there's like an event going on. Oh, sorry, Rachel. Yeah. So if there's like an event going on, like a birthday or an anniversary, then you get some sort of reminder. I was just thinking if the app, like if it reaches a certain amount of downloads, so say like 2,000 or 5,000, we could just like extend it and like make it as a Chrome extension too. So like a lot of people that use laptops and stuff like that, that's where you can manage your subscriptions and just get reminders. On Google, you just get like a pop-up saying you have this amount due in say 5 days. Your subscription for Netflix is almost finished. Do you want to renew it? Something like that, and then you just redirect them to Netflix.
I think the challenge has always been that, like, looking at the current market, like there aren't enough people downloading it. So my question was, why is it? Is it because there's just not enough interest, or is it not? Because I would use it.
It's definitely
yeah. So
yeah, I think it's definitely Go ahead.
So your idea of doing just the marketing, maybe the missing piece, maybe we can market it, and not enough people know it exists. So we have marketing gurus here, have Emery and Carla. I'm sure with their help we can get this done, so that at least with a small app, as a no coding app, just try it out, super lean, and then see if it works. Right? If it doesn't, we move on, but at least we find out. So I think that's not a bad approach.
Yeah, even in the beginning, I had like some crazy idea of like making a whole new market, making a whole new apps and stuff. But like Susash, as you like told me, there's like a lot of stuff to it. There's like a lot of production costs. There's like maintaining servers for it, stuff like that. And that's why this idea is like really, really good. It's just like a small app. It doesn't take like the expense. The total cost would be like less than 50 or less than 100. But it's something that everyone needs. It's like a small app that everyone would use.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's great idea. It only took you 3 months, man. That's all it took. That's all it took.
Yeah, and you know what? That's actually not that much compared to some
It isn't.
products that I've done where it was like 5 or
isn't.
6 years of living in my head rent-free somewhere before I actually did anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome.
I mean, I went
actually
through-
complimenting you. Yeah, for sure.
I went through a lot of different like ideas. It was like the non-Newtonian fluid. Like when I was in the wearable tech, when I was in the wearable tech group, there's like one product that I thought it was like it'd be like a safety gear. So it's like a liquid. The more force you apply, the harder it gets. So I just use it as a safety feature. And then like there's already there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with it. Right? The production cost, the actual like there's already companies out there. There's like companies that have like 50 or 100 people. Like what are they doing? How can one person compete against 100 people? And then I came up and there's a different idea of like you have a contactless payment ring. So like instead of using a credit card, you just use it as a payment method. And then there's like a lot, like I had a meeting with Susa, how it's cleared out the smoke and like actually understood what like there's a lot of stuff behind it. It isn't just like creating a product and like selling it.
Natalia has some feedback for you. She said, in addition to your research, have you thought of releasing an exclusive number of people for a limited time and then use it to give your feedback before releasing the final app? Maybe that could be a good marketing traction play.
Good idea.
I haven't really thought of it, but it's just like, I guess it'd be like a certain amount of beta testers. So I have the app downloaded. I'll like upload it as an APK and then transfer it to like, say you guys, and then like you guys test it out, like use it for like a week, see like what could improve and stuff like that. The problem with coding an app itself is like it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of bugs. Like you make 10 lines of code, and if you make a mistake in one line, like all the lines of code, none of them work, right? That's why I went towards a no code option. It's much simpler, it's much faster, much easier, and it'd be much faster. Like that leave me time for beta testing, and I just like if I have the app ready, I just like have a bunch of beta testers, people that actually need the app, and then like use them to like get some feedback.
Brilliant. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Well, I mean, you're on the right track, and I think last time we talked, you mentioned that you're going to have about a month or so to be able to market after you finish the no code. So I'm excited to see what you do.
Thanks.
Great job. Great updates, guys, today. Thank you. Yeah, this is good. I'm very impressed. Very impressed. Like it's been a really productive week. Awesome stuff, guys.
So since we're about 15 minutes over here, Hamza, thank you so much. Let us know if you need anything. Otherwise, I'm just going to roll the outro and let's all get out of here.
Bye, guys. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.